Welcome to the session. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Andrea, for having me on this show.
Thank you so much.
Glad to be here.
Thank you. So, dear friends, you've met Mr. Abhijit. You'd love to know more about him, right? So I do that as regular, share their entire profile at the start itself, or maybe a brief profile about them at the start itself. Mr. Abhijit Shankar is a person connected with acupuncture, acupressure, seed therapy, touch therapy, and much, much more. I just take the privilege of sharing his profile in detail for all of you. So I go ahead and share your profile and we begin the journey. Yes.
Sure.
Thank you. So dear friends, I just take this privilege of sharing the profile of our guest who's here with us. He's none other than Abhijit Shankar. As I earlier mentioned, he's connected with acupuncture, acupressure, touch therapy, seed therapy, and he's now at present practicing at IIAM, a Cure for Sure Center. He's also connected with robotics. That's something very secret. Sir will share that. I wouldn't want to let that out. He's going to share it from his side. And this is his passion of connecting with the healing journey. And for more than 10 years, he's into this field of the healing journey. So that's really wonderful. Now, he has been able to help several people to overcome various issues in their lives. For example, it could be simple fever to more serious ones, and with 100% results all the time. That's nice. Cure for sure. I really love this. So when somebody gives you that, let me get the right word. When somebody gives you that assurance that there is a cure for sure, trust me, definitely you will be okay. Because we need that assurance and we need somebody to give us that courage to believe that, yes, there is a cure for everything, or there is a cure for what you are facing. So let's begin the journey to get to know more about Mr. Abhijit Shankar and how he's going to enable us to understand the healing journey. I'd like to add a little more to Sir's profile. By qualification, he has completed his degree in electronics and went on to complete his MBA thereafter. And by passion, as I earlier mentioned, he is a healer. And I love healers, and I would love to be one. And I would love each one of you to be a healer in your own way, in your own space, such that we make this world a heaven on earth, right? Hello, sir, and welcome to the session. Thank you so much for being here. The first question I'd love to pose for you today is, who is the real Abhijit and how did he enter into the field of healing? Two questions at one go, please.
Sure, Andrea. Thank you so much for this. All right. So about 10, 11 years ago, so I was at a friend's place, office rather, so in Indira Nagar in Bangalore. So he used to be a person who used to do a lot of change work. And I was intrigued on how the change work really happens. So one fine day, he says, stay back beyond 7 o'clock because there's a very special person coming in here. And that was new to my friend as well. And he said, this new person that's going to come to my office is actually a healer. Until then, I did not know what a healer is, what healing is, nothing of those sorts. Okay. And I asked him, so what exactly does he do? So this friend of mine told me that this person does energy therapy, energy work. I'm like, oh, really? Okay, that sounds interesting. Now, coming from a scientific background, okay, so I run a business in robotics even today. So we build robots and we operate across our country and beyond as well. So that's my actual vocation, along with my passion, which is into healing modalities. So with this background as well, so I was a little skeptical about how these things really work. So I just sat down through that particular session. And then I met this particular person who came in, and there were a lot of people who were already waiting for him at my friend's office. So he came and he was doing a lot of healing activities. So some people would come and say, you know what, I have a particular problem here. This part of my head pains, or I have an issue in my throat. I have a pain somewhere else in the body, so on and so forth. And in about just a few minutes, okay, less than 10 minutes is what I would say. Okay, so this person did what he did. And the people who came to get healed actually reported a minimum of about 90% reduction in their condition. And most of them said it's completely gone. Very few of them said 90% is gone. And I did stay back because I was a little skeptical coming from the scientific background. So the next time this person came in, I think about a week thereafter. So the same, some of them from the previous week also came in, and these were the people who had only 10% of their original ailment left out. So I actually made sure I spoke with them after the second session, and they said it's completely gone. Now, I was startled. I was like, wow, really? In less than 10 minutes per session, if somebody could relieve their pain, or they could get over whatever ailment that they were suffering from for years or decades, it's marvelous. It's phenomenal, actually, if you look at it. And then it so happened that I actually sat through, with the permission of that particular person, I actually sat through that session, one session. It's generally a one-on-one session, and others are not allowed. So I requested the healer to allow me access. He said, okay, all right, you just sit somewhere there. All right. So I just sat through it. And after that client left, so I asked a few questions to this particular healer. So he was startled that I actually asked him those questions. He was like, really? So if you're really asking these questions, you know what? This means that you also need to learn, because these kind of questions are not common. People do not generally ask these kind of questions. And I said, I don't know anything about your line of operations. I run a business in robotics. He said, that doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter what your background is and so on. Just come. And he gave me the address and he said, come and meet him later. And about a year and a half, 2 years later, I did learn all the modalities under him for about a year and a half and two between that time. So after 2 years, I got certified as well from the Government of India to practice acupuncture and other modalities. So today, officially, I'm a certified acupuncturist from the Government of India as well. So since then, for the past so many years, I have been practicing at IIAM, which is International Institute of Alternative Medicine. So yes, so we have two centers, one at C.V. Raman Nagar near Kagadasapura in east of Bangalore, and another one again in the east of Bangalore near Budigere Cross. Okay, so we have two centers there. So I'm a student of IIAM and also a practitioner at the same institute. All right. So this was how I actually started off. And what really gave me impetus is my mother back then was suffering from a knee issue. Okay, so we did take her to orthopedic doctors and so on, and they said a lot of things. And it was useful. I'm not saying it wasn't useful. It was definitely useful, but not to a very large extent. She was still uncomfortable with her knee. She wasn't very comfortable walking around, so on and so forth. So I said, okay, let's take a chance. And while I was still learning all these modalities, I did take my mother to my guru and told him this is the condition of my mother. And you know what? In just weekly one session per week, I think I took her about 7 to 8 times, and that's that. And after that, her whatever was her particular problem, she was rid of it. So much so that at 60 plus years of age back then, 10 years ago. Okay, so after her treatment, after her weekly once for 8 weeks treatment, I think after 3, 4 months, she actually went trekking. Can you beat that? And she could do it successfully. Absolutely. Yeah, yeah. So that's what actually gave me impetus that you know what, this does the work, and I can probably learn it. So that's how I started my journey in this wonderful line, Andrea.
Excellent, Abhijit. Seeing is believing, experiencing it also, because your close family member was into it. You've seen the changes and you've seen the improvement. Now, Abhijit, there are certain people who still can't believe in alternative medicine. They still don't have that faith. So, in order to believe or to completely put yourself onto that healing journey, you need a lot of faith. You need a lot of, you know, push, like from the right kind of people. Just if somebody tells you, or if you have just read it somewhere, it won't work. You have to see, like in your case, seeing is believing, experiencing it from close quarters. So how can you help our viewers to understand how does the healing journey take place?
That's a wonderful question you've asked, Andrea. Thank you so much for asking this particular question. Well, this is a highly scientific method. Now, to understand how and why it is scientific, we need to go back in time. Okay, let's go back to a bygone era and let's understand how this particular field developed even. All right, so back in the days, we're talking about the days when people used to fight wars with bows and archery and arrows and stuff like that, right? So it used to happen that in a particular place in India, so there was a war. So all this was these are all facts, and some of it we have documented. We have documentary proof even today. Most of it we have lost due to various reasons. Okay, so it went to China, and it's been documented in China as well. These are available for verification, by the way. So what happened was there was a particular war, and there was one specific chieftain. All right, he had a back problem, a problem in his spinal cord, because of which he was totally uncomfortable every single day. Due to whatever reasons, he had to go to war for to fight for his kingdom. So while at war, our man very fortunately here got shot by an arrow at a specific place in his leg. And then what happened while he was, of course, in pain because the arrow pierced his particular leg. So he was taken to whatever was an equivalent to a hospital back in the days. And after recovering from that particular, and those days, whoever was, the Vaidya, as they would be called back in the days, did whatever treatment, local treatment for the arrow and all of it. And after that, this man said, you know what? My back pain is gone. Now, how's that? And the Vaidya was like, rubbish. I don't know. I didn't treat you for your back pain at all. I just treated you for your wound, a local wound. How can your back pain go away? And then, happenstance, another soldier came to the same Vaidya and he got shot somewhere in the arm. And he said a different issue that he was ailing with for so many years got cured. And then this Vaidya, being an intelligent man, he actually put two and two together and he started studying what's really happening here. So after thorough study, what came about was if you press here, a problem which is somewhere here can be cured. They arrived at this analogy by experimentation over a period of many decades. It's not a short period of time that they did this experiment for 15 days or 1 year or whatever. Over tens of decades they did this. Maybe through generations they have documented all of this. And then this is so many hundreds of years ago I'm talking about. Okay, so and then after a while they documented everything in a very methodical way. Okay, so and thereafter that's how acupuncture was born. Acupuncture, acupressure, so on and so forth. So after immense study as to how is it that if you press here, some other problem which is here can get cured. So after immense study of patients, I'm sorry, clients, we don't call people patients. Okay, we call them as clients. So because we believe that nobody is diseased as we know it, we say it is dis-ease, not at ease. It's not an ailment to be which cannot be cured. Right? So they studied this and they figured out that there are certain pathways in our human body for the energy to flow. Now, what is energy? Now, let's get there. Now that we know how acupuncture, acupressure, the system was born, it was a practical system. It's not voodoo science. Okay, now me coming from a scientific background, and if I am also doing this, I've also been very skeptical about adopting to this particular methodology because even I thought this is some voodoo science and all of it. Okay, now I would urge you all, including all the viewers, to actually do this. Okay, so I'm going to show something on the screen. You can actually do this, including you, Andrea. So you can take your palms, just make sure they're clean enough. Okay, so take a finger and rub at the center of your palm. Okay, for about 30 seconds. All of you can do this. All right. Now take the other palm, rub here for 30 seconds. Now, I would just like you to focus on your palms. Just put them face to face with each other. Can you feel? What can you feel actually? You can take it closer. Okay. Do you feel something? Just put your attention in between your palms. Do you feel something? And you can move it ahead, apart, and closer as well. So if you actually pay close attention to it, Andrea, so some of us may feel a little bit of heat. Some of us may feel a little bit of resistance. It's a very, very fine and a very subtle resistance. Some of us may feel a very subtle attraction towards the other palm. Okay. So this is the energy. If you don't feel anything, rub it for a little longer on both palms, and you could repeat the same. Yes, please.
I have a question. I mean, clockwise or anti-clockwise?
Doesn't matter. Do it clockwise also. It doesn't really matter. Yeah, anyway, it's fine. All right. So if you can just rub it for a little longer than 30 seconds, and if you just focus your attention on the space in between your palms and your palms especially, so then you can actually start feeling something. Now, this is the energy that we're talking of. So the energy is not something which is gotten from any other source. It is innate to all of us. If you're born as a human, you do have the energy. Okay, so what does this energy do and where does it come from? Well, so it is a universal energy. It's present everywhere. So it is that specific energy which makes the plants grow. Let's say a particular seed. Okay. Now, from a seed, now this is a very, very small seed that you could see. Any seed, if you look at it, okay, from this seed comes out a tree. We all know that. How does that really happen? And as humans as well. So at one point in time, we were a zygote. Now, how did we actually? Yes, we know about the chromosomes, we know all of that. But how does that really happen? Okay, so there is an intelligence to it. I'll give you another example. Okay, now let's say some people have short sight, some people have long sight. All right, so we all know it is proven in all kinds of sciences that the cells in our body, everywhere in our body, they die and they regenerate. All right, so the new sets of cells keep coming up and the old set of cells keep going away. This is the process. Okay, the duration may vary. All in all, if you look at the entire human body as such, science and research has proven that every approximately about 7 years or so, thereabouts, we have the entire set of new cells in our entire body. Now, if this is true, how is it that if you have a specific power, let's say myopia or hypermetropia, right? So how is it that the new cell also knows that you have it? This means that there is an intelligence that is being passed on to the new cell. So I can give you another analogy. Okay, so let's say we are running a business, all right? So there are a few employees who are going to quit. Now, let's say a specific person is good at manufacturing, let's say one particular component. Now, if I get recruited into his or her team, he or she will train me in doing what he or she does best, correct? That's how I can also, I may be an expert in electronics, but still there are certain things which I may not know about that particular field. So that training is what makes me also do to develop that particular electronic component very precisely. Similarly, even in your eyes and everywhere else in the body. Okay, so there is a built-in intelligence in the body which gets passed on to the new cell which comes in and tells it, hey, this is the normal. Okay, having so much of power in the eye is the normal. This is being passed on. So what really happens here is in energy therapies, okay, along with other things also, one of the main things that we do is how do you build new intelligence so that when the new cell comes, it need not develop as a myopic or hypermetropic or any other condition thereafter. How can it start from its original level, which is normal? Now, what I mean is, if this is the mean for all, and if due to whatever reasons the power is here, okay, let's say minus 0.75, all right. So how do you now what's happening is all the cells that are born at minus 0.75. How do you stop this, and how do you get the new cells to be born at 0? That's what I mean. So we do this correction as well. All right. So because of this level of correction, which goes into the cell level. Okay. Now, yeah, I'm sorry. Because of this, we can bring about lasting changes which are permanent. It's not a temporary change. It does not relapse unless we put efforts to make it relapse. All right. So this is what we do, and this is why healing works. And even if you look at tablets, okay, so certain tablets release certain chemicals so that whatever it is that is the condition, maybe the pain release. In pain release, what really happens is, certain transmitters, pain transmitters are blocked. All right, so the signals do not go into the neurotransmitters, and that's how the pain release, pain relief happens. And if you look at fever, then there are certain chemicals which go into us, which react in a way so that the fever gets down. It's not magic. There's a science to it. Likewise, there is a science to the replacement of the intelligence as well. So this is how exactly we bring about lasting changes.
Thank you for that elaborate explanation. Thank you so much. I'm sure the people who didn't get connected with themselves earlier could connect with themselves now and understand how their body works and how energy plays an important role and how to make the best use of the content that is being shared here today. So now for all the common public, like the common people, like who don't have that much of depth to understand, the deeper aspects of acupuncture and acupressure and energy healing and all of that. In very simple terms, if you can just make us understand what is acupuncture, what is acupressure? Are they both the same terms, or what is it like? If you can just give us a brief explanation about it.
Sure. I'm so happy you asked this question. So acupressure, acu is pointed. Okay. Pressure is putting pressure. All right. So acupuncture is pointed puncturing. So there's a small needle, very small needle, which actually we put into certain specific places in the human body. Right. So predominantly these are on your arms, your legs, and your head region, and a couple on the chest. All right. So why specifically? Now let's just get into a little bit of why behind needles and the pressure. Okay. So like I told you, the story about the origin of acupressure, acupuncture. Okay. So after a lot of study, they figured out that there are pathways. There is a specific path for the flow of this particular energy or the intelligence, as we call it. So all right. So and somebody gave the name as meridians for the flow of the energy. Now, is the meridian the same as a nerve? No, it's not. It's different, right? So, is it a physical organ or a physical entity? No, it's not. So, if you say, is the meridian here? Can I see it in an MRI? You will not be able to see it in an MRI because it's a flow of energy, right? So, they've tracked it, and over a period of, like I said, generations. So they've studied and said, if you have a specific problem, work on this particular point, and each meridian has number of points. Okay, starting from 7 all the way up to very many points. So you can work on this particular meridian on this particular point, and such an ailment can be rectified. So this has been very well experimented, tested, and then documented over a period of generations, and it has worked in so many generations. So, for example, if someone is suffering from high blood pressure problems, okay, so in acupressure, we press a specific point with a specific pressure for a specific duration of time. So with that, what happens? The blockage in the flow of the energy in that particular meridian gets released. This is one method. Now, for example, if I tell you, hey, just press, keep on pressing it like that, for you, you really cannot keep on pressing it for a long time because you'll have aches here, you'll have aches here, and so on and so forth. Right. So it's not very practical. But yes, for certain places, it is very, very practical also. So we have needles where we just put the needle in that specific place. And that energy which is blocked, which is in the flow of the meridian, will get released. And these needles really don't hurt you. Okay, people think that it's a very long needle or something. It's a very, very minute, very tiny needle that we do have. So with that, and it's just epidermis. It just enters the skin. It just enters the skin. It does not go deep in at all. Right? So just enough to touch that particular meridian. All right. So that's exactly how acupuncture works. And pressure is just putting pressure like that. So this is basic difference. Apart from this peripheral difference, everything else remains pretty much more or less the same. There are different modalities like Sujok and so on, but in there it differs. That's also a part of a larger picture of the acupressure and acupuncture system. There it differs, but per se, if you look at acupuncture and acupressure, pretty much they overlap.
Thank you, Abhijit, for sharing that. In fact, I was wanting to ask you this question, like, people are afraid of just a single prick, when they get an injection. Now, if it is acupuncture, I think on different points they use those needles, right? So
Yeah.
you very well explained that it's not going deep, it's just at the surface, like, right?
Yes. Exactly. It does not go deep at all. We just a small prick. At the max, I can say, have you ever been bitten by an ant?
Yes.
That's it. At the max, that's the feeling you get. At the max.
Yes. Thank you, Abhijit, for sharing that. Thank you very much. Now,
Sure.
this acupuncture method or therapy, like, this the method of acupuncture, should it be conducted by somebody else or can it be done by our own self? Suppose now I need that to be done for myself. Can I do it myself, like, take those needles and do it myself, or somebody else has to do it for me?
Wow, that's a fantastic thing you asked. Well, it's like the question you're asking is this. Okay, so if you know, first of all, if you have a problem, okay, and if you don't know anything about acupressure or acupuncture, my recommendation to you is go to a certified acupuncturist or an acupressurist. Go there, get yourself healed first. All right. So today we have a lot of options available. Data or knowledge, as we call it, is available to us. Somebody says on the internet, all right. So if you have fever, press this particular point. If you have blood pressure, press that particular point. If you have something else, press some other point, so on and so forth. Okay. So my recommendation is please don't do this. Go to a certified person and then get this done by him or her on you. Okay. The reason is this. Okay. Now, the fever that you have, do you know why you have the fever? You don't know it. Okay. So when a client comes to us, the first thing we do is we check the nadi. We do the nadi pariksha. Okay. So the nadi pariksha is generally done like that. Okay, here. So we hold above this particular nerve. Okay. So there are certain points we just hold like that. And we get a sensation in these three fingers. Now we are trained to identify what they mean. Okay, with respect to the pulse of that particular person. So that is actually telling me as a trained person, it is giving me a lot of data about that particular person. All right. So we know that, okay, if there's a fever, we know the problem is with either with his liver or whatever else that the problem he's having, because of which he is actually getting a fever. Once we have this level of in-depth analysis, then it's easier for us, and it's more precise, actually, not just easier, it's more precise for us to give the pointed treatment. If you don't know the root cause, and if you just do that and it doesn't work, what happens is you'll start thinking that, hey, this is all voodoo, it doesn't really work. That's why for most of the people who get information from everywhere and they try to do things by themselves, it really doesn't work. Maybe it works for some people. Maybe they're lucky, okay, but not for 100% of the people. So my recommendation is go to a person, get yourself cured and healed. And if you really are interested, go through a formal training in that. And then you can do it for yourself if you really want to. Until then, please don't do it. It's like, for a matter of fact that, you have fever and you need to get paracetamol tablets. Paracetamol kills that. Yes, it does effectively. But do you know why? If you go to a doctor, if you go to a general practitioner, he or she will diagnose and say, you know what, this is the reason for your fever. So along with that paracetamol, they may give you another combination of medicine which will not just cure that fever, which will also do something else for the original problem. That's what I'm saying. So don't do things by yourself.
I like the way you put it. You see, you put it very logically. Like if you love to do it by yourself or on your own, you want to treat your own self. I mean, you better get trained.
Yes.
I love this. That's really very nice. And it's very true. Without
Yes.
any training, don't try anything and then mess up things. It's always good to either get it done through a person who's already trained in it or get yourself trained and focus on healing. Now I
Absolutely.
have, yes, please. I'm sorry for interrupting. Yes.
No, that's it. I said absolutely. Yeah.
Okay, thank you for that. You see, Abhijit, I have a question in my mind. Now, acupuncture and acupressure, is it also helpful for people to heal emotionally? Because sometimes, in my case, when I'm highly stressed out or when I fear a lot, I maybe have done something wrong, or maybe, emotionally I'm completely disturbed. That very day or that very night, I get a severe headache and fever also. I think many of them could relate with this. So, psychologically or emotionally, if you're disturbed, your body will react to it and you may develop, a fever a bit. So, does acupuncture and acupressure play a role in healing emotional traumas too? If I'm not mistaken.
I love this question. Thank you so much for asking this again, Andrea. All right. So, yes, it does. Because what it really does is this: if you analyze, if you break your emotions down, what you're doing is you're generating certain chemicals within yourself. When you feel angry, you're actually generating certain chemicals which lead you to do the actions that you do. Okay. Like, for example, we all know about adrenaline. Adrenaline. We all know about it, right? So when you are excited, you have a lot of rush of adrenaline. So it makes you do a lot of things, right? So when you're really sad, when you're depressed, you don't want to do anything because you don't have the drive to do anything at all. So which means it's either an excess of that particular chemical or depletion of that particular chemical. If it is in the balance level, then you're fine. So if this is the case, if you go to an acupuncturist, acupressurist, or an alternative therapist, as we're called. So what we do is depending on the pulse, okay, depending on our reading of your particular pulse, we know where to do the corrections in your body, because of which that particular imbalance gets corrected. See, the elements that there are many, there are 5 elements essentially in each one of us. Right. So with the correction of these elements is health. For example, for somebody, if the element of water is high, they have a certain problem. For some other person, if the element of earth is high, they have some other different problem. And air, fire, and space. Okay, so these are the 5 elements. So a balance of the 5 elements is actually what is good health, if you look at it. So when you're anxious, when you're angry, or when you're really stressed out, what you're doing to your own self is imbalancing any one or a combination of the 5 elements in your body, because of which certain chemicals get released. Okay, so certain chemicals are very good. Serotonin is very good. So, in certain conditions. So people also have a dopamine rush, right? So these are all things which make people work. So a person who's very depressed, so if they're given these kind of chemicals, their mood comes up like that. So we can do that with acupressure and acupuncture as well. Absolutely possible. And
Many
once you're at the neutral level, okay, so you can, there are other methodologies also. First, if a person comes in totally depressed. Now, by the way, we've had cases at IIAM, International Institute of Alternative Medicines, where people have come in with suicidal tendencies. All right, so the very fact that he or she walked in with that tendency is an indication that they want to be rid of it, but they are not able to. So when they come in there, we correct their imbalance, and through other methodologies of uh, hypnotherapy, hypnosis, so on and so forth. So if they're having any mental blockages, that can also be taken off if it's not possible to do it with logical reasoning and logical talking as such. It is possible.
Many thanks for sharing that. Thank you so much. Now, I'd like to shift to the touch therapy. For
Yes.
me, I'm hearing it for the first time. To be very honest, touch therapy is the first time I'm hearing it from you. There are many people like me. That's what I say. Awareness is all that we need. And so
Yes.
International Fab Talks is one thing platform where we have, guests who share them very well, the expertise that they have within them or the expertise that they've acquired throughout their journey. So now I'd like you to share and explain to us what is this touch therapy and who can avail this touch therapy method and heal themselves. Is it physical healing, emotional healing, psychologically, all of it? So what is touch therapy? Over to you.
Thank you. All of it, actually, to answer your question, it's all of it. So what we generally do, I've actually explained what touch therapy is already, but let me just tell you in a different way with the nomenclature as well. So if you recollect a few minutes ago in this very same conversation, I spoke about replacing the intelligence of that particular cell, which is going to be born, which is just born in the particular region, right? So we took the example of the eye. So wherein, the new cells, when they come up, they know that they have to adapt to minus 2.5 or minus 0.75, whatever is the actual power. So how do you correct it? Like I said, that system of correcting it has many ways of doing acupressure, acupuncture, touch therapy, seed therapy, so on and so forth. In touch therapy, what happens is there's no pressure that's being applied anywhere. There's no puncturing either. Okay. So a master at touch therapy is actually a channel for the energy system that is in place. We have explained what energy system also is. So the best way to explain a channel is, let's say you have an overhead tank in your building, okay, and you have in your kitchen you have a tap. So the moment you open the tap, the water flows out in your kitchen tap. Now, how does it flow? It flows because there is water in your tank overhead. Now, what if the pipe, the connecting pipe between the water tank over your head and the kitchen tap is clogged? What if there's a lot of algae formation in it? The speed at which the water flows out reduces. What if it becomes even more? It reduces even further, and so much so that it starts to trickle down. Correct? So what we do is, as healers, through our gurus and through thereafter, because our gurus would have initiated us into certain practices, daily practices. Okay, so we will not have the clogs, if I can call it so, in the pipes. So we are, let's say, if metaphorically I am the pipe, so there wouldn't be clogs for the flow of energy. So whatever energy is available, we can draw it, and through us, we can transfer it to the others, to whom their system is clogged because of various reasons, because of which they have the ailment. All right. So in touch therapy, we access that energy, and through certain scientific, well documented, experimented, tested methodologies, we pass that energy on to the client who's in front of us, because of which he or she will be rid of his or her problem. So there are, I'm sure all of us know, I mean, or rather most of us would know that in our human body, okay, so wherever the nerves cross each other, Okay, so any joint that the nerves cross, right? So they are the centers for energy. They're called nadis in our ancient Indian system. Okay, so it's all there. You can look it up as well. So certain nadis have been found to be the epicenter of energies. Okay, so and they are for colloquial purposes, they're called as chakras. So each we have so many chakras in our body. So out of which our people of yesteryears, our ancients have actually done a lot of research and found out that there are a few major chakras which are on the spinal cord and a few above it on your face as well. Okay, so through the touch therapy, we activate the flow of energy into that specific chakra. Right, like for example, if somebody has a problem with the let's say with this particular region, it could be an issue related to the lungs or a blood pressure issue or something small with the heart or some other issue or whatever be the problem in this region. So we directly put the touch to that particular chakra and we transfer the energy there, which gets distributed inside. Okay, it's a whole lot of science, and I really cannot explain everything here because if I really have to explain, it takes quite a few hours. Right now, you may ask me, how does it get distributed? Is there a channel for distribution? So these are the questions which will come up. So, like I said, if you really, really are interested in this, go and learn it. Once you learn it, you will know how exactly the distribution really happens. It's akin to this. Now, if you say for a person who does not know anything about electricity, the current, the power that we have, you just go switch on and you just press a button on the switch and the light comes up. Now, is it magic or is it science? What would you say, Andrew? If a person comes and says, hey, I'm just pressing a button on the wall and this light comes up, there is no connection between them. How is it all this is magic? This is all voodoo. You just thought something, you switch the light on and you pressed a button on the wall and the light came up. It's magic. No, it's not. There's a lot of science behind it. There are wires. All right. So, and there's a system how the electricity gets generated, which is what we are studying in the entire course. To a person who does not know anything about electricity, let's say you get somebody from a tribal region who has never seen electricity, how do you explain electricity to that person? He would say it's all magic, nothing of these sorts exist. So if you say it gets distributed through wires, he does not know what a wire is. How do you explain it to him? That's exactly why I'm saying. So this is not faith based, number one. This is not voodoo. Okay, this is not something which is done, because of some magic, nothing of those sorts. It's pure science. It's just that for various reasons, okay, we don't know about it. This is truly what it is. And because we don't know about it, we have our belief in a different methodology. I'm not against any other modality, including the tablets that we take, including the surgeries. They're very important. We respect it. Okay, we do believe in it. In certain situations, yes, they are really life-saving. The surgeries are life-saving. The drugs which are manufactured in bulk, they are really life-saving. We definitely respect that. But at the same time, this is also true. So it is up to the person to choose what he or she wants and adapt and adopt what is really good for them in their situation. So, so the touch therapy, again, coming back to your question, is about changing the intelligence of your cells in a way that it aligns to what it is supposed to do and not to the skewed default that it is taught to do. I hope this is clear. If you have questions on this, if you need more clarity, I'm happy to explain.
Thank you, Abhijit, for sharing that. And I really appreciate the way you've been sharing this with regard to modern medicine, surgeries, etc., and as well as alternative medicine. It's like healing is like two sides of the same coin. It's up to you what to choose, like, right? What you believe in and what is the need of the hour. You should be very wise and, put all your thought process. I mean, get the right kind of information and go ahead with your healing process. You put that very well. You're very honest and genuine on that which you shared. Now,
Yes.
I'd like to ask you more about touch therapy.
Sure.
Like it may be like a little girl asking you, but let me just put it. Now, the healer or the touch therapist, does he or she touch the client? Now, as you've mentioned about the healing process of, the chest part, it could be like your, maybe the breathing that is not okay with you, or maybe your heart, or maybe whatever's connected with your chest part. Now, do they place their hands over there and heal it, or do they just put their fingers like that and heal it, or what is it? If you can just let me know, because there must be somebody dumb as me outside there who will not know actually what how this touch therapy works. Does the therapist touch the client and heal them? Because in earlier years, we had many of the religious heads or many saints, like if they just put their hands on certain people, they would be healed of their disease or they would be cured. So is it something like that, or is it something much deeper? If you can give me a clear explanation.
Sure. So nice. I'm so happy that you're asking all these kind of questions. Truly appreciate it, Andrea. Right. So yes, you're right. In the touch therapy, we do touch only one part of your entire body, which is this, just the forehead. Okay, irrespective of where your issue is. You may have an issue at the toe or anywhere in the chest or hands or wherever it is. Okay, so we touch only one point, which is this. So this is actually this is a very advanced method of doing things. So what I explained to you of touching the heart or touching that particular point is the way it transitioned. Okay, so basically going back again in time, some people figured out, like you rightly said, that some people would just touch somebody on the head, and then they would something else would get healed in their body, like you just explained. All right, so they figured out that once you touch in this part, this particular pain that you had here in the shoulder would actually go away. And then further, there was research done, because people are not comfortable touching and being touched. That's a fact. Let's accept that reality. All right. So further research was done on this and said, okay, what can we do to make it comfortable for both the people involved? And then people with great experience did a lot of experimentation over a period of generations again, and said, you know what, there's a single point, one point wherein you can touch in a particular place on your forehead, and you can actually heal any and every and any problem just by that. And we don't touch like that. We just touch. It's a pointed touch, just like that, like that, like here, right? So just a pointed touch like that with one finger. So that's how the touch therapy really works in the physicality of it. But yes, like I said, there's a whole lot of science which works behind what happens here. How does it travel to the toe? And how does your toe get healed? And all of it. That's a huge science. I need a few hours yeah, to explain all of it. And just a small analogy I can give you, which every person would have felt it. Okay, so now let's say you're entering a particular room. Okay, so for your work or for your college or whatever that you're doing. Okay, so uh, certain times we would have had a feeling that, hey, something is wrong here. And we say, I don't get the vibe. I don't get the right vibe. I don't get the right feeling that this particular place is good for me. Or in certain places, when you just go, you get a real nice feeling about that particular place. Have you personally felt this, Andrea?
Yes, many times.
Many times? That's fantastic. So how do you get this? Do you know how do you get this? Exactly. So this is where we get into how do vibes happen. So vibe, what is a vibe? Now the energies that I am giving out, you are able to sense it. So if my intentions are right and pure, you get the right kind of vibe which is right for you. Now, if I have malicious or if I have a different kind of an intention, so that's the negative vibe which people really get. All right. So similarly, if you can believe in vibes, if you have already experienced vibes and feelings, okay, you can really be healed. And even if you're not experienced, you can still be healed, by the way. So
Definitely.
that's how the touch therapy works. So we're not invading anybody's privacy or of their body. We're not touching them in any inappropriate way in any part of their body. We just touch their forehead. That's that.
That's
Yeah.
happy news for everyone who would love to go in for the touch therapy. That's really nice, very respectful, as you earlier mentioned, like being uncomfortable touching and being touched, the
Yes.
therapist and the client as well, right? So I think
Yes.
this part like would be fair enough and make
Yes.
you feel comfortable and in peace and go along with the
In
therapy.
fact, for some people, yes, Andrea. In fact, for some people, if they're not happy being touched here, we can touch them anywhere. If they're happy that to be touched on their palms, we can do it here as well. But we found out that this is the most effective way.
That's
When I
true.
say we, it's not just about us. It's my guru and his gurus and people who go back in time over a period of generations. The research that has happened in this particular line. That's what I mean by us.
Thank you for the interesting information you shared. That's really very nice. Listening to it is very therapeutic for me. Like I really feel good, and I'm sure others too would feel just like that. Now, sir, let's talk about seed therapy. So when I heard of this term called as seed therapy, so I began imagining all the different kinds of seeds to be consumed. All the healthy seeds, especially now with diet taking prominence over like junk food, a good diet or maybe healthy eating, healthy snacking. So when we were connected with this term called as seed therapy, so I thought it's something about consumption. No, I want that to be cleared from you. So if you can make it very clear to all the viewers as to what is seed therapy for me and my viewers as well.
Thank you so much for that. Right. So yes, seed therapy is a very big modality by itself. Okay. So yes, in our in the way of alternative medicines and in our place, International Institute of Alternative Medicines, we do train people, students, on what to eat, how to eat, when to eat as well. Most important, when to eat. Okay. So and what combinations to eat and why. So while we do this as a separate topic altogether, seed therapy as such means it is a connected system to acupressure and acupuncture, more so to acupressure. Okay. So certain seeds, like for example, daily seeds that we use in our kitchen, pepper. We all have pepper at home. Okay. So we all have peas at home. We all have wheat, gehu, wheat at home. Okay. So we all have methi seeds at home, right? So now these and so many others as well. So I'm just giving you four commonly used ones. So these are what we call as seed therapy. So what happens is, supposing a person comes to us with a pain in his back. Okay, so we do whatever treatment we do, and in certain cases, when we feel that this particular client needs a little more of what we have actually done, all right, as a standalone therapy or as a supplement to what we have already done, then we take certain seeds and tape it to certain parts of the body. All right. So, for example, we tape certain seeds here. So, for certain kinds of issues. So, what we do is we take about 4 to 5 seeds of peas, frozen peas kind of thing. Okay. So, we put that onto a tape and put it up here. So when we do that, two things happen. So one, there are certain points here which keep on getting activated by that particular seed because it is taped to it. All right. So acupressure keeps happening in that particular place. So the energy system, whatever is blocked, keeps on getting released. So over a period of those 30, 40 minutes, when the person can just go away, they need not stay at the center also. Okay, so they can come, get the seats done and go away, and we tell them after about 30, 40 minutes you can just remove the tape and discard it in a scientific way. So that will happen. And for yet other people, for certain other issues, we put certain methi seeds and we tape it. For example, if I have to put a methi seed at the thumb, so I put 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 methi seeds depending on the requirement, and we tape it here. So it is there in that particular place for those 30, 40 minutes or so on. Some people have different time durations. So that's okay. That's not a problem at all. So it works as an acupressure one, and more so, the seeds themselves have certain intelligence. They're also living, by the way. They've come out of a plant. All right. So, like we have trillions and trillions of cells in our body, so do they. They also have it. So they can also have and pass on, they can also get and pass on certain types of energies. Of course, it's very trivial compared to what as humans we can do. But to that person for that particular condition and in those many combinations, maybe that's what is required. So we put that tape and let the person go. And we sometimes tell the person leave it on overnight. So depending on the condition. Okay, so we fine tune it depending on the condition. So that also works. So the seed itself gives a small amount of energy, plus it acts as an acupressure point. So it works both ways. So that's the seed therapy. Now, for example, I have a small little seed to show you. So these are pepper seeds, if you can actually pay attention to it. Okay. So not powdered, just the seeds. So we take these pepper seeds and we put them together in a line like that. Okay. So a few of it like that. And we put it in a certain place where the requirement is for that particular client. And we tell them, depending on the issue, like I explained, the time duration is given.
Oh, that's really nice, interesting. Now, see, more than the physical ailments, people will have a lot of emotional trauma.
Yes.
I'd like to ask you a question. Do seeds help in healing our emotional trauma as well? And if yes, can you just tell us where is the exact place or spot we can just, you know, tape these seeds over there and heal up?
Wow, what an interesting question. You know what, Andrea, you've actually asked an extremely, extremely deep question, to be honest. And this specific question has been the topic of research for generations together, by the way. It's because of people like you who have asked these kind of questions that people arrived, our previous generations arrived at a single point touch therapy, actually, if you look at it. Okay, so the quest is on still to find out that one single magical point where you can apply that one single magical seed as a cure for, as a panacea for all kinds of emotional trauma and emotional issues. So unfortunately, we haven't arrived at that state, at that situation as yet. We don't have that information as of now. So what we do here is, yes, like I told you earlier as well, a lot of emotional issues, in fact, all of emotional issues can be handled and addressed and completely eradicated using these modalities, all of it, because all they do is alter the elements, one or more of the five elements that I've just stated a little hither to this moment. All right. So with that, yes. And like I told you, the seeds do work by themselves, as well as pressure points for acupressure also. So they work in both ways. So yes, with seed therapy, we can definitely go ahead and make a lot of impact on people who have mental health issues and depression and anger issues, so on and so forth. Like that, there are also magnets that you can use. Magnets also have, they emit a certain energy. And there's another one called auricular therapy. Auricular therapy is this ear of yours itself becomes like acupressure is done on the palms and your arms and everywhere else. It's done just here on the ear. So that is also there. There's so many modalities that we have actually. Now, why so many modalities? If you look at it, is because now, if you say I can do only on the left hand or left palm, what do you do if a person comes to you who does not have a left palm for whatever reason? Maybe it's cut, or maybe it's not, it's deformed, it's not well formed. What do you do for them? Right? So if you say it's only on the feet, if a person doesn't have the sole of the feet, what do you do? How do you treat? You just can't do anything in that case. You hit a roadblock. So to avoid these kind of things, there's so many modalities which are there, so that and depending on the client and the healer, each person can have a specialization. Somebody can say I specialize only in auricular therapy. Somebody can say I specialize only in seed therapy. Somebody can say I specialize only in acupuncture, acupressure, touch therapy, so on and so forth. Okay, so that is exactly why we have so many therapies, not to get confused with which is better or which is more effective. Everything is equally effective. Everything is the best. It only depends on, let's say, your favorite subject, for example, in college, must have, it could have been, let's say, arts. Okay, so my favorite subject might have been physics. Somebody else could have been mathematics. Somebody else's biology. So if you say which of this is better, can you actually say which is better? You really can't, because arts is required, biology is required, physics is required, mathematics is required, all of it is required. Similarly, auricular therapy is required, all seat therapy is required, acupressure is required, acupuncture is required, all of it is required based on the interest of the person and the situation.
Thank you, Abhijit. Thank you very much. Now, one question which is very important. I think most of our viewers would love to know this. Is it affordable? Either the acupuncture or acupressure, touch therapy, seed therapy, is it affordable for the common man?
Very well. So I can only talk about what I do or what we do at IIAM. Okay, so we are not here for to make a living out of this, by the grace of the by the grace of God. Okay, so we're all doing very well. So the reason why our guru also came up with the idea of International Institute of Alternative Medicine is to reach these therapies to the maximum number of people, irrespective of their financial condition. Okay, so we have a lot of film stars coming over to us. We have a lot of celebrities in from the world of business who are actually tycoons. Without their permission, I'm sorry, I wouldn't be able to take their names. So, but yes, the who's who do come there. Okay, so to them also we charge the same fees, and we do have laborers who come in, and some of them even say, "I can't afford." We say it's not a problem, just come in. It's not about the money part. It's about who you are. Okay, so that's truly what we do. So people who can afford to pay, yes, they do pay. Okay, so people who really cannot afford to pay, we still give them the same treatment. It's not that we do anything less for them, and it's not that we do something more for somebody who pays. Now, for example, let's say our fees is 500 rupees, and if you say you want to donate 1,000 rupees, I'd say no. Why would I need it? I really wouldn't need it. I'm just going to need my 500 rupees. All right. So it's very affordable. And our guru is very clear that these are gifts to the human being, and these are not to be misused. While at the same time, it is required for the practitioner also to make a living if he or she is doing this full time. So there is a reasonable, there has to be a reasonable income for the practitioner also. So there is a fee fixed, and we are all encouraged. If somebody comes and says really cannot afford to pay you, we are really encouraged to do it as a seva,
That's
as
very
a
fair.
service, as an offering to God. Yes.
That's very fair. Very nice to know that. That's really interesting. So, I mean, all of them have access to it, each one of us, right?
Irrespective of the financial condition. Absolutely.
That's beautiful. Thanks for giving that beautiful example of a rich and famous person and a laborer. All are welcome. That's
Yes.
business. And very fairly, you also shared this that the practitioner or the therapist requires a certain amount if he or she is, into this full time.
Yes.
That's very fair.
Yes.
Now, what I'd like to ask you is like, if anyone would love to join the IIAM and go through all these various courses and to become a full-fledged practitioner or a therapist, to put it in the right way, is it they have to be like I mean, is it a regular course or it could be done through distance mode or online mode?
Yes, nice. So we started off as a regular course, in-person course. So even when I was learning about a decade ago, right? So I would actually travel to a physical location in Sevi Raman Nagar and sit down at my guru's clinic rather, and then learn from him. All right. So now post-COVID, the world's changed. All right. So now at IIM, we also have students as far as Germany learning this on the internet through such video calls. right? So yes, while we do encourage people to come in person, okay, so for whatever reasons, if you really, really cannot come in person at all, so equally effective will be the online version of it. That is also available. Yes. Yeah.
Interesting to know. I think like many of them will come forward to go into this field. It's something
Absolutely.
unique for us, like people like me, like it's something unique to hear about it, and they would love to go into it. So thank you so much for sharing all of this. Towards the end, one last question. I've been taking quite a lot of time from you. One last question is about robotics. Now, apart from this passion of yours, you are a full-time professional and into this field called as robotics. So can you tell us something about robotics? Because now robotics is booming. The industry is booming, if I'm not mistaken. If you can share something about it from your end.
Hey, thanks for that question again, Andrea. Yes, so as a business, so I run a business in robotics as well. So we develop robots for industry-specific applications. All right. So, for example, places where humans cannot or should not go, but they are unfortunately today because of the requirement. All right. So we have solutions using robots. Okay. So there are a lot of companies who do a lot of industrial robot machines and so on and so forth. So we have our niche in creating solutions for specific applications. We work with manufacturing sectors. We work with software companies. We work with a lot of logistic companies. So we work with infrastructure related projects. So where they have some specific requirements and they say, you know what, Abhijit, can you develop this particular machine for us? Can you develop this particular robot for us? So after all our formalities, etc., right? So yes, we do develop them and provide it to our end clients. So we are at the cutting edge of technology as well. So we use a lot of artificial intelligence today. We use a lot of machine learning technologies along with the latest in communication services, communication technologies, and the highest of robotics is what we generally develop with. Yeah.
Excellent. I like the way you put that at the very start when I asked you this question. There are certain things or some type of work that should not be done by human beings. It could be easily done by robots.
Yes.
And this is very sad to hear. Like just last month, no, I'm sure that it happened in Telangana. Quite a few, I think around about 8 members were trapped in a coal mine or something, and all of them perished away. They died. It's very
Yes.
sad, and even they're unable to retrieve their bodies back. And I wish like robotics play an important role to do all of this dangerous and difficult work, right?
Yes, absolutely. With the change in technology today, it is very, very disheartening to see these kind of incidences that happen in our country, especially, and also everywhere else in the world too. So yeah, that's where we are trying to make a change. In fact, if you look at me, if you look at my business rather, so the business I am in actually is not robotics. I am in the business of saving human lives. I am actually in the business of ensuring that people do not get crippled. People do not die unnecessarily because of the hazards of the work that they are doing. This is my actual business. So to achieve this, I have adopted robotics. So this is how I would love to explain what I do. And here as well, as a healer too, what I'm doing is ensuring that, efforting to ensure that people live a very healthy and a comfortable life. So if you look at it, I'm actually doing one thing, in both the places.
It's a very beautiful way to explain yourself in this way, like, protecting human lives. That's really nice. Either it is through robotics or through the healing process.
Yes.
You value human life and you would love to see everybody living in a beautiful way because this is a
Yeah.
gift. Life is a gift. Let's live in peace and allow others to live in peace. Before I sum up, one more thing I'd like to add is we've seen several sanitation workers going deep into these drainages, clearing it up and coming out of it. And I wish robotics overtakes that. I wouldn't want to see anybody entering into a sump or into a drainage pipe or something like that, a manhole or something, and clearing up the waste and the stuff like that. Because I I've had an experience where I've heard a particular person who used to clean the drainages where we used to stay earlier, around about 10 years back. He died due to some type of breathing problem. He used to enter into the manholes, clean it up, and all of that. So I hope the government comes forward, encourages robotics more for these particular reasons, like to save human life, as you just mentioned, not to send them in the most dangerous areas, to keep them safe.
Reality already.
Reality. Wow.
It's already a reality. We're already there. So there are, it's not just us, there are a couple of other players also doing what you just said. And why that really happens is, when a person is in a what do you call that? A tube, a manhole tube. And if they're deep inside, there are some gases which come out as, from the effluents which flow through it. And when that person inhales that particular gas, which is very, very lethal and harmful for him, that's why, due to asphyxiation, to loss of breath, the person really has to, he doesn't have a choice. That's what happens. So today there are already robots which go into sewer lines, okay, and show where exactly the problem is. Some of them even clean them. All right, so we're all there already. It's already a reality, Andrea. So yes, like you said, there are a lot of other places as well. So where similarly death is already happening. So that is where I come into play, and that's where we're developing a lot of solutions to help people not get crippled or have any unfortunate events like what you just said. Yeah.
Excellent, sir. Thank you very much, Abhijit. It was really a pleasure to have you here to get to know more about all of this, like, right from acupuncture, acupressure, touch therapy, seed therapy, robotics, and the real essence of life. Like,
Yes.
live and let live. And I like that the way you connected that with your business and with your approach to life, saving lives around you, making the world a beautiful place.
That's what we do. Yes.
Yeah, that's really
Absolutely.
nice.
Absolutely. Yeah. Thank you so much, Andrea. Thank you so much for having me here. And I truly, truly appreciate the questions that you asked. Really, really meaningful questions, and which really enabled me to explain things in a much better way. Due to paucity of time, I could not go very deep because the subject is that deep. So for viewers who really want to know more, I would urge you to learn about these modalities if you really are interested. And thank you so much, and namaste.
Namaste, sir. Thank you very much. We look forward to many more interactions with you. Lots of love and respect to you for the work that you do, and to all the people who are connected with you and who are into this zone of saving lives and protecting the human race and making life beautiful on this planet. Thank you so much. More power to you and to the people connected with you.
To you too, Andy. You're doing a fantastic job at this. Thank you so much. Namaste.
Thank you. Thank you.
Namaste. Bye.
So dear friends, with this we come to an end now to the International Fab Talks for today. Do share this video with the right kind of people. You never know who may be interested in what was being shared today. Many of them would want to avail what was being shared today, like what kind of information was shared today. Make it a habit to share good things online than the other stuff, or the stuff that is really not of use to anyone. So share something that is really beautiful. So here we have a lot of beautiful information with regard to healing process. With this, we'd like to sign off now from the International Fab Talks. If you like what the International Fab Talk team is doing, stay connected with us. Like, comment, subscribe, and share to the International Fab Talks. Above all, prioritize your health, prioritize healing, and prioritize making the world a beautiful place and a better place for all of us. Stay blessed. Thanks to everyone who are present here on the show. Thank you so much.